Hello, Luke here. I would just like to take a moment to disclose upfront that we sometimes talk about sensitive topics in our podcasts, and in fairness to our audience, we will try our best to put specific warnings in the descriptions of each episode. Now on with the show.
Making my way down vents, dressed like a cop, but I'm still tense. Ba-na-na-na-na-na, dun dun dun, ba-na-na-na-na-na. I need the rock now. Dun-na-na-na-na-na. Believe that. Police, they blunder. If I stole rims, I'd come in from the sky. Do you feed speed into your ride? 'Cause you know me as Detective Miles, but I'm a federale. Ole.
Nice.
Right.
That one had to be sung because,
Yeah.
the way I wrote it, and I was like, oh, this is just a bunch of garbage. There's no, if you just read it, you're like, this makes no sense.
I'm here for it.
All right.
And welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I, as always, am Luke Lond, joined once again by, as always, Chuck Starzinski.
I am still him. I am still here.
And back for a great return, Javier Martinez.
I told you I'd be back, so here I am.
Right on. And special guest, Kyle Warner.
Yep, that's it. And I'm
the
so
hell is,
excited to be here.
Who the hell is... No,
Nobody's ever heard of me. This will be my one thing right here.
Welcome, Kyle. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
And we watched Blue Streak.
He planned the heist. Come here, gorgeous. He stole the rock.
Good doggy, it was the nearest exit.
And he hid it in a safe place.
Hands up! You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
2 years later,
I'm free! Damn! When I left, you was like, plickety cow. Now you like, boom!
his hiding place is not what it used to be.
Is this really a police station? Of course!
Now, to get back to his rock,
Piece of delivery for robbery, homicide.
There's two kinds of people that get through that door. People wearing handcuffs, people wearing a badge.
he'll need the ultimate disguise.
I'm a detective.
I know the real reason that you're here.
Excuse me? You're the new lead detective. Me?
We're gonna be partners, and this thing's like a marriage.
No, this is nothing like a marriage. It's more like a one-night stand. Wham, bam, thank you, officer.
He's keeping the peace,
Put your hands on the pavement. Miles? Tully?
protecting the innocent. You don't get that kind of training at the academy.
Believe that.
And taking the law
I'm a cop.
damn into his own hands.
If my client gets so much as a scratch on him while he's in your custody...
You can't touch me.
Ow! Detective!
If he walks like it, how'd you get so good? If he talks like it,
You might want to buckle up.
he's gotta be.
His internal affairs.
Hell no, he's FBI.
I'm an officer of the law.
Full of it.
Just who the hell are you working for?
I'm a federale.
A federale?
Martin Lawrence,
Tango, El Gato, Los Pantalones.
Blue Streak,
You just told those men you got a...
And go ahead if you got elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
Right.
Yeah. Jewel thief Miles, after being I actually didn't write anything, so I'm just going to pull it off the dome. I am so unprepared for this one. I'm even less prepared than I usually am.
Kind of like Dave, right?
I know. Jewel thief Miles, after being double-crossed by his partners, stores a diamond in a soon-to-be-built building in the air duct. Little does he know, after his release from prison, unbuilt building is actually a new LAPD headquarters. Miles must go undercover, pretend to be a cop, all while trying to get back his beautiful rock. Can he pull it off? I don't know.
You know, I think it's better than the actual elevator pitch that's on IMDb. So
Yeah.
nice work, man.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Kyle, what was your nostalgic attachment to this film since you're the one who chose it?
Yeah, this movie I was so excited to rewatch, but also was terrified to pick for this because I had no idea if it was going to hold up at all. And also, a lot of the things that I remembered loving about it were, I'm like, should I love that? You know what I mean? Is that something I should still be laughing about in my head?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but it was huge for me in high school with my boys. We would always rent movies constantly, and this was one of the ones that just landed so hard that like the one-liners never stopped with us for like a year and a half from this movie. So it was just constant referencing to this. So that's really what made me choose it, and also wondering if I was gonna laugh out loud again, 15 years later.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do here is make people unsure of themselves and their past.
Exactly.
Question your choices. That's what this podcast is all about. Yeah, I had a very similar experience. I was like 10 when it first came out, but I don't think I saw it until I was like about 11 or so. I fucking loved it, of course, because I was like 11, 12 years old. This was in super heavy rotation with Friday and Nothing to Lose back in middle school. I must have rewatched it like 5 years ago and was actually surprised how well it held up.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those like, ooh, like, sitting down with my at time girlfriend, now wife, like just like, oh, let's watch a comedy. And then just like firing it up and she's just looking at me like, is this what you find fun? But no. We both had a great time. I was surprised how well it held up.
Yeah. And so for me, I did see it pretty close to its release date, right? It came out in 1999, I believe it was. So yeah, I definitely watched it probably the year after that or something. Kind of like Rush Hour, another film that we did on this podcast. My dad was super into the buddy cop, also late 80s action kind of stuff. So anything he watched, I pretty much watched. And he's all about, what Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and everybody. So he liked all those kinds of movies. And so I saw this. I've seen it at least 5 times, but it has been a very long time since I watched it again. I hadn't seen it since early 2000s some point. So
I do love that we've got like a weird pattern with guests here where it's like, we want Javier back on. That means we have to do a buddy cop movie.
Was that the last one you were here for? Was a buddy cop movie?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I guess this is what you're into then, at least according to these boys.
Yeah. When I got the text, we're doing Blue Streak, I said, oh, okay. And as I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to think of, I don't know if I'm going to have much to say that was different than...
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah. I did, though. I did manage to pull out a couple things, so we'll talk about that.
Right on. And a trend I'm noticing is that, once again, I did not watch this movie when it came out up until researching it for this podcast. It did, however, make me extremely nostalgic for old Dave Chapelle and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
I miss them. I miss them in those days.
Yeah, when they were in their prime.
Exactly.
They were
The Dave Chappelle stuff.
Half-Baked, Martin Lawrence, the TV show, was just hilarious. A big part of my childhood. And the movie,
Fair enough.
I'm not like
it's
I don't know what I was expecting, but if I was watching it back when it came out in its day, it would have been awesome. I would have laughed my ass off and been like, fuck yeah, I'm watching this again. But now I don't know.
I still felt like I was surprised at how much laugh out loud happened for me on the rewatch, even though like half of it was probably still nostalgia laughs, like me still thinking back on those times when I was laughing with my boys about those same jokes. But it was still, there was parts also that I didn't remember that I was like laughing at again. And it just, there was a few things like Luke Wilson being so much funnier than I remembered. Like I just didn't give him the credit that he deserved and why that movie was so funny. He played he did his role so well. Just playing,
he's an excellent straight man in this. Like
it was remarkable how much I was laughing at his lines, and I just didn't remember that to be.
He's like so sweet and naive and gullible in this too. Like it's just Martin. He's just yes-anding the whole movie. Like Martin Lawrence is like, this is what I am. It's like, oh, no way.
He's a professional wet blanket.
I had no idea. Just like, oh, so that's what it is. We let the little fish go. It's like, bro, come on. These lines are amazing.
While we're on that subject, what's some of your most nostalgic or favorite scenes, Kyle?
Just obviously you can, if you just get rid of the whole very beginning opening where they do the classic 90s pan over the scene for like 15 fucking minutes, which I'm like, when I first watched this, I was like, when I was first rewatching it, I'm like, oh fuck, you know, like this is what it started. But then what I loved was it was almost instantaneously as soon as that was over, and they're going right into the action with the, you know, with the robbing or with the burglaring of the jewel. And like you see Dave Chapelle with a cigarette in his mouth and a cigarette in his ear. I mean, this is just like, I'm already laughing. And then he goes to flick the fucking cigarette out the window that's fucking closed as if he's smoking, but he doesn't know the fucking window's closed. That's just comedy gold right out of the gate. And I just love that. And so that, you know, I had been laughing about for a long time. And then just basically all the Dave Chapelle scenes I realized were all of the stuff that, you know, it's like when he's getting arrested, when they run into each other in the liquor store and he's robbing the place. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm working," you know, like, and it's like, oh, shit. And then he's like, put your hands on the floor. He's like, I can't put him on the floor. He's like, where should I put him? He's like, put him on the oodles and noodles, like that kind of shit, bro.
Which flavor?
Yeah, chicken and beef. It's like,
good.
come on, dude, that is so great. And then when he's being interrogated again, it's just like when he's like, if I don't get something soon, I'm talking. He's like, and she's like, what are you gonna do? He's like, well, all I can tell you is that he's gay. He's gay. Just like, you know, again, it's like, this is a new day. That is, you know, I'm not sure that's making the cut now if you're making this movie, but it was just, at the time, that's all we were saying. Anybody that did something and it's because he was gay, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, it's embarrassing to say now that that's how we were, but that's just what the time was. And that
exactly.
Nostalgia wise, those are the scenes that were heavy. All the Dave Chappelle stuff was big for us, you know, because the Chappelle show, that was all kind of, it was when I was watching this was when that stuff was at its hype, because it was 3 years after probably it came out that you know, it was a rental for me. So
no, he steals the show. Like you just like see him light up the screen. And you're like, oh, that guy's a star. Like the second he's like,
Yeah, you know, it's funny because that whole the integration scene, that meme is going around right now online.
Is it?
And, yeah,
is it really?
Yeah. I've seen a couple of different variations of like, oh, you know, when my buddy applies to a job, like, and they call me for a reference, and I did not remember that it was from this movie. I did not remember this was from this movie, and my buddy sent again like different variations of that to me so many times. And so when I heard in the movie, I'm like, oh, that's where it's from. That's right. Yeah. So that was funny seeing
It's
that.
becoming relevant again.
Yeah. Everything like a boomerang. Everything comes back.
That's right.
We touched on I would say everything with Telly is amazing. The standoff, like in the alleyway as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is going to hurt a little bit. It's like, no, just hand me the gun.
Yeah. And his face too, when he pushes it, because he pushes the gun away. He's like, no. And it's Dave Chappelle's face, like he's like taken aback. Like, it's just like, it's so great.
One of my favorite scenes also is just the Miles's first case that he just gets thrown right into.
Yeah.
With the whole breaking in and stealing the rims from the shop.
Yeah.
And like he just cases the place out and like it's like instant like Sherlock Holmes level. Oh no, this is an inside job.
Yeah.
He instantly knows.
He's got that criminal instinct. He knows what he would do if he was. Yeah, exactly.
It's got one of those fun lines too of you know, like, do you like snacks? Yeah, I live for snacks. It's like, I can tell. He's like, stop. There's a lot of fat shaming in this movie, but yeah, it's like, stop. You need to cut back on the cold cuts because they're seeping out of your pores.
I mean, that was what was great. Is like there was no break in the comedy throughout this whole movie. Like, there was no scenes where they relied on action to carry it through. Every scene was basically fun. I mean, like maybe with the exception of like the pinnacle of the action, there was comedy throughout, and that's what I loved about it. Like the driving scene, dude, when he's like, oh, let me drive or whatever. Do you mind if I drive? And then the next scene is just the most absurd fucking just
jumping the bridge. Yeah.
Just like just no way in humanly they had to shoot that with a slingshot. That car was never going that fast at full speed to get that much height. And then like it's a terrible scene film. I mean, like it's clearly not a cinema because like they're driving for the part where they're screaming just on a flat road. They're like, just driving down the road. It's hilarious though. The cut is just amazing.
Yeah, that jump is insane.
Yeah,
I don't even know how they did the stunt.
Yeah,
like because that whatever landed would just be demolished.
It was gone.
It was so high up.
There's no
fucking
that
way.
Car flipped so many times, and then the way when the landing happened, they just kind of like
cut to the inside of them.
All that happened, like the car wasn't even shaking. I think Martin Lawrence just moved his body to make it look like it was. I mean, but it's like the bad of that made it so good, you know? Like the fact that they did not give a shit if it looked real at all.
Yeah, it's just over the top. It's awesome. It's great.
Just leaning into it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it's beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We kind of mentioned it off mic, but yeah, in that scene, just the whole bit of like, sometimes you ever get all up in it? It's like, I've never gotten up in anything. It's like, sometimes you got to feed a little speed to your ride.
Yeah.
Well, what are some worse scenes or moments you wish you could forget? What hasn't aged well with this movie?
You know what? I'll take the lead on that just because I actually I don't think I have a lot of stuff that I felt didn't really age well, other than maybe like the you're gay joke.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
yeah.
I mean, which kind of ties into like a little bit of my opinion on the film, which is that I think for the most part, it doesn't go too extreme. I think even like Rush Hour, I feel digs in a lot of the I'm black, so this is the joke, kind of thing, the racial humor. Whereas I try to rack my brain, and I don't think there was a lot of that. It was more about like, I'm a criminal, so this is why I'm acting this way, versus like, because it could have very easily gone
into racial stereotypes.
For sure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah, and so I think that was played really well. Or even in Luke Wilson's case too, playing the straight man, he didn't overdo that either. Like it wasn't, let me get my pocket protector, or like exactly. Or like, why are we listening to this? Switch the radio station to like,
I love mayonnaise sandwiches.
Whatever.
He wasn't like...
No, it was all pretty safe, kind of down the middle. And I think I personally really enjoyed that. So I don't think there was a lot for me, but I would love to hear what I might have missed or what.
For me, it's like, there's nothing like canceled about the movie. Like there's nothing in that vein. For me, as far as worst scenes, it's just something that bad. I loved when I was a kid, when I first saw this movie, that did not age well, just because I'm like, this is not funny at all. It was the pizza man scene. Like, it's just like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like that scene just takes me out of the movie too, because it's like, it's the only time that he's like going undercover and playing this big, larger than life broad thing.
Sure.
Like if that was something they worked in later too, where it's like, like, how are we gonna get the heroin back and da-da-da-da-da? Pizza man. Or something like that. Like if there was a callback or something like that, it would have been great. But yeah, it is just like, I'm just going to go in with these big, stupid fake teeth and like, do my little like dance, which I was like, that was one thing I also took away was like, Martin Lawrence can dance. He's like busting a fucking move on the screen.
Yeah. I liked the pizza scene still on the rewatch. Just I thought like when he goes to when he just flips the whole box over at the end on the thing.
Gotta take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, it still landed for me. And just the teeth. I mean, like, I don't know. That's probably hugely nostalgia. Like it's, if I watched it now on its own, I guarantee you I would probably feel similarly. But because of them remembering that scene a little bit, and then just like the details, not remembering him just completely flipping the boxes over, it landed for me again. But there were some things that I didn't like. Mostly it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't about the canceling thing. In fact, even the gay thing, I was like less offended by it at this time than I thought I would have been. Like, or than, I felt like it was going to be worse. Like it was going to be like, oh, this is super cringy. And I felt like it was like the most tasteful way you could do a joke like that. Like it was, but even still, it was, it was still not good. But
be careful hitting this.
Oh
guy.
yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
But what I didn't love was the fact that the kind of early premise, like the backstabbing jewel thief kind of like way to start it. I'm like, this is just like, it wasn't good. All the scenes with him, in fact, I wasn't a big fan of, and he's been in some, he was the bad guy in the
Peter Green,
yeah. He was just not the best for me in this for some reason. Like I just didn't love his character.
Yeah, and all of that was just tacked on. Like, because it's like you would forget that he's still around and still alive and trying to get his revenge, and they would just be like, we're just like going back to him. Wait, no, go back to the cop stuff. Go back to like,
He's obscenely motivated.
Exactly.
Throughout the film. Like he doesn't,
for what? Like for the diamond that it's been gone for 2 years.
There's got to be more jobs out there.
There's so many more jobs. There's so many more diamonds out there.
Yeah, exactly. I also, the vent being labeled when he's coming, that was just super. I was just like, come on, like third floor, like hallway vent, like, like I was just like, how often are they labeling these vents? Because this is a giant building. I don't think they're that organized. So that was a bit like, okay, come on. But the suspension of disbelief in this movie, there's a ton of things. Like, and then the girls, the whole scene with the girls, I liked it because there's the comedy there, but it was like they were completely irrelevant to the movie. Those girls, like they were in there for that one scene, and then there was no purpose. Like it didn't add anything to it. There was no, it didn't motivate him at all to do anything. It was just like,
No, he didn't want to change or anything like that.
yeah, I guess the point being is like, I guess they had to address the idea that when anybody gets out of jail, the first thing they're gonna do is go see a girl. But I'm like, okay, then tie the girls back in. It's the same kind of thing. Like make them matter at some point, or don't, But
So I'm going to touch on that scene later on when we give awards.
okay,
Right on. I just couldn't handle Dave Chappelle's character. The amount of stupidity that those scenes went on a little too long, where he just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't understand in the interrogation room that he should just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There's a grift going on here. You're a part of it. Just go along with it.
Yeah.
And like on all of his scenes, he did not get it.
That's
You're
true.
a thief. You're a grifter.
Yeah, like how are you not picking up on the hints when I'm covering your mouth?
Yeah.
That's totally true. But it's part of what made it funny. But you're right. Like it's just doesn't make any sense.
I think it would have made sense to me in 1999.
Yeah.
But today it's just like, well, it goes a little long, and it's like in every scene that Dave Chappelle's in,
Yeah.
he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on, man.
Right,
why are you working with this guy?
Yeah, because they're professionals, right? I mean, he says like,
You
I
would
think at some
think
point
so,
he says like, oh,
yeah.
like you're really good at
Yeah, you're
being
a good driver.
and, like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like you can't be that stupid. if
Yeah.
you're in that.
Yeah, you belong behind the wheel, man.
Exactly.
What are you doing, robbing liquor stores?
Well, moving on, I guess we'll get into this movie's cocktail. So, much like Miles, we're pretending to be cops this morning. We've got coffee and donuts. And then...
And all the excitement that entails.
Exactly. I was going to say, and then also a little excitement if anyone's game. We also have some espresso liqueur to throw in the coffee because sometimes you just got to feed a little speed to your ride.
Yeah. I think maybe I will too.
All right.
That sounds nice.
Well, that sounds like a perfect opportunity to take an ad break.
Take an ad break. And we're back with Act 2, The Evidence Board.
Got trivia, making of, behind the scenes. So this movie came out in 1999. It cost $36 million, and it was a fucking hit. It made $118 million.
Nice.
Wow.
Written by a bunch of men I've never heard of. Michael Berry, John Blumenthal, and Stephen Carpenter.
Nobody's
Heard of any of them, I think.
No, I think they have 3 credits each or something like that.
Really?
Perfect. And then directed by Les Mayfield. Then as far as trivia, I've got just a couple little things, honestly. Not a ton of stuff. The original version of this film was intended to be like a super hard R. So actually, maybe a bunch of stuff you talked about, Javi, got cut. Because the original script, I guess, was a lot edgier and a lot punchier. The studio fought really hard, though, to get a PG-13 rating.
And that's why they got that $100 million.
Exactly. I would say they're paying for it. So, yep, they won.
Yep.
Also, something that got cut from the original script kind of touches on Dave Chappelle and his whole, thing that he's kind of
kicked in the
famous
head or
for
something?
right now.
Oh, right now.
In the original script, there was a scene where Dave Chappelle's character was supposed to be undercover in drag for Miles, like it was part of the sting.
Oh, wow.
And apparently Dave Chappelle adamantly refused and was like, fuck no, I am not wearing a dress. You can find somebody else. God. They had already shot a little bit of it. And so they're just like, cool, we're just going to rewrite it then, bud, if you're going to be a diva about that.
Right.
Wow. Diva about that. Nice.
Ironically.
Yeah. And then a sequel, because this movie was a fucking hit.
Yeah.
A sequel was written in which we follow Miles' exploits through Mexico. He eventually gets wrapped up in a bomb threat and like trying to like disarm a bomb and all this kind of stuff. For whatever reason, the movie fell through, but they
Thank God, though.
They took that script though and reworked it just a little bit, not even much apparently, and it became the 2002 film Bad Company with Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I never saw that.
I've never seen it. I really want to see it now. Apparently, it's like
I thought you were going to say Speed.
no, it's like they turned it into like a grittier action movie.
Yeah,
They just reworked it a little bit, and then like they took out all the jokes and then just gave Chris Rock like a couple one-liners. But otherwise, it is like the president's daughter.
Yeah,
it's very grave and serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris Rock, and it's a serious movie. I mean, no wonder nobody saw it. I'm surprised with those two guys. That never even hit my radar. I've never heard of that movie.
It came out 2002. It was like right after 9/11. I think is why it might have gotten like lightly buried.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sounds vaguely familiar, but yeah, absolutely have not seen it.
Ooh, that coffee's a little stronger. Usual Suspects. I was pretty lazy on this one. Actors and crew from previous reviewed films and suspicious connections. The most obvious one is Martin Lawrence and Chris Tucker. So, although they don't appear in any major films together, that I'm aware of at least. Both of them got their big break on Def Comedy Jam.
Right on.
And so they
Well,
like...
There's a lot of people we could tie back to Def Comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, and they kind of like, they were always like super close and like, yeah, helped each other up through the comedy scene kind of thing.
Right on.
Which is so weird that it's like, because I was like, oh, like this movie was one of those movies that I was like, dude.
This one will be easy for future movies to tie people back to. But
I was like, bro, we got William Forsythe? Like, oh my God, like this, that dude's in everything. And then he's in nothing we fucking done. I had like hardcore Mandela effect. I was like, there's no one from Rush Hour in this movie?
Yeah.
That seems impossible.
Right.
That literally seems like, it feels like you would wrap Rush Hour, you'd like take a week off and then you'd be like, hey, I'm making some movie with fucking Martin Lawrence. He's a cop. Perfect.
Yep.
Like it's the exact, like I had that moment where I was like, okay, the FBI agent, no. Okay, the cheat, no.
Yep.
Okay, the guy with the ass cream. Nope. Or I guess it's ball cream. It's not ass cream.
I was wondering about which it was because I couldn't.
Yeah.
It says itchy, and I'm like, that could go either way.
Yeah.
I didn't love that scene either, but it did set up the hug, which was pretty good.
That was a good one. Oh, and then he rubs it on his face.
Yeah. For nitpicks, we kind of touched on some like nothing really problematic or canceled. But stuff I would like to debate with y'all is what's Miles gonna do in Mexico without a passport and nothing on him but a giant diamond worth like $6 million?
Yeah, he better have a good fence down there because
He's got a cat in his pants.
Exactly.
Like, that's I don't know. That can get you pretty far down there.
Yeah, but it's
especially
like
that time. I fear, yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, he's got like, it's like doesn't speak Spanish, has nothing going for like he's in like it's also like border town areas. So he's like Juarez.
He's getting robbed. Is what's happening.
Exactly.
Like what happened the next day? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Good question. Just let us end on a happy note, man.
I know, right?
Why you got to bring us down?
I mean, they said it was 17 million, right? 17 million, especially for that time. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Was that the price?
Yeah, I remember because he said that, and I actually it caught me off guard, and I stopped and thought about it for a second. I was like, oh, that's
for that piece of glass, that cheap jewelry.
The worst piece of costume jewelry you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this plastic rhinestone.
I had one of those as a kid.
They featured it a lot for how fake it looked.
Oh,
They
yeah.
showed that shit on screen without any, I mean.
no shine or anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't punch it up, nothing.
No.
Didn't sparkle. It was just fucking dead glass.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about bummers too. Like, what happened to Telly?
Yeah, exactly. He got nothing.
Well, also, did he get blamed in the heroin bust? Because they just kind of leave him there.
Yeah.
He's literally like, there's a joke scene where he's like grabbing like a brick of heroin and shoving it down his pants, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna flip this kind of thing. But also like, okay, but there's like FBI everywhere and cops everywhere. Like, is he just like now doing life for being a part of a Russian like crime heroin syndicate?
Yeah, and did he ever get his 50 grand too?
Exactly.
I mean,
20.
Yeah.
20.
I'm thinking 50. 50?
There you go. That's the sequel there. Tully joins
there you go.
Interpol or
Revenge.
something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To go to Mexico.
To take him down. That's actually probably better than whatever they wrote for the sequel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then my only other nitpick is like, the way Peter Green's character goes down, cuffing a man to a truck that's been flipped and then just shooting him. And also I love that that's totally cool with the FBI and the LAPD.
Yeah.
They're like, no problem.
Yeah.
Good
Like
job.
he literally gets like a hand, like a
It's almost
fist
like a
bump
round of
handshake.
applause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, nice work, Officer Malone.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, thank God you did that in Mexico. I've been wanting to do that over here my entire life. You got to strap a man to a car and shoot him in the face.
Good job, Officer Agent.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Funny that there's another little Rush Hour tie-in. He did the double gun trick.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I was like, oh! I jumped up and yelled, "Oh, it's the double gun! Secret gun!"
For me, the biggest thing with the nitpick is just how many times basically it was said verbally, like with people around, that he was full of shit. Like with initially when Luke Wilson asked him, he was like, what? He's basically like, wow, your jacket's so impressive. Like you have all this stuff. And he just says like, well, that's what happens when your Uncle Gino writes your file. And he's like, oh, okay, great. And it's just like, bro, wait, what? That's not okay, great. What did he just say, dude? Like, so it's just like, he basically just told many people, I mean, and obviously the absurdity of all of the things and just the belief of everyone. Oh, he's actually internal affairs. Yeah. Oh, he must be FBI. And then, obviously ending with the federale at the end is just, and then all of a sudden, right when he crosses the border, they kind of were like, oh. So I don't know exactly if they yeah, at what point did they figure it out and let him kind of go back across the border, or like, you know, like, or did they just really figure it out once he was finally across? You're like, oh, he's probably not a federalist.
Were they really okay with like not having any transcripts or paperwork on the guy? Like, or was it like, oh, holy shit, we just had a mercenary fall into our lap. This guy can beat the living shit out of everyone. Yeah. Because he does like, it's just like he just starts whipping ass every time he's in the interrogation room.
And he gets the good job from the FBI agent at the end too. He's like, Malone, good job. I was like, oh shit, he believes him too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Hey, Malone, let me talk to you. Ever thought about joining Blackwater? You're already a man without a history. Let's make you some money.
Did you take my shoelace?
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, which is so funny because you know we're talking about his the credibility of everybody buying him being a cop. Like right away in the film, I was like, why didn't you just say he was a maintenance guy or like like an air duct?
Yeah,
seriously. He wants to go undercover as a
like
cop.
I mean, I understand there'd be no movie, but you know, but I was just like, oh, like that was the best idea. I was like, oh, let me just impersonate an officer of the law, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the guy said the only people that get through are people in handcuffs or people with the badge.
Right.
But they set that up, but it's like that's not true. There's a janitor.
Right.
I promise you,
right.
No,
for sure. That's why I was like, oh, like you know, like I feel it's all easier to rent a truck.
Yeah.
These floors are spotless. Someone's mopping.
Exactly. They're not. These cops are not out there washing the windows, my friend. I promise you.
The movie's 15 minutes long, and the minute 14, Miles is on the beach with all his money. Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the other thing too, is how many times he had the diamond and he just like fucking just looking at it, people come in, he drops it.
He
it's just like, it's like, bro, this movie should have been, it's like if you get in, you are not going on the case. You are you are just hiding from everybody, getting your diamond and getting the fuck out. There's no chance any of this is happening. But, I mean, obviously there's no movie if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, ready for another ad break?
Yeah, take a little breaky poo.
And we're back with Act 3, the award categories. I hope you guys wrote stuff, because I didn't.
I have a lot, yeah.
Oh, cool, good. We're we're running pretty quick here at half an hour, so.
Wow, this is a tight episode.
Yeah.
Well, it's
it makes sense. There's not, guys said, like we were saying on the break, this is not a substance movie. It's all a dialogue movie. So there's no themes. There's nothing. There's nothing to this movie other than good humor. And if you're looking for anything more than that, then you're going to be sorely disappointed.
I don't have to defend drag or trans rights in this one. I don't have to talk about how big of a piece of shit the director of the Boondock Saints is for an hour and a half. Like, this is a breeze. This is
just fun time.
Yeah,
Exactly. Ron Jeremy's not in this. I don't have to like go into that. This is awesome. So first award is who won the movie? Best performance, most scene chewing, directing, can be anybody. But I got a clear cut winner. I'll let you guys go if you guys got somebody.
I didn't have a clear cut winner. I was going all over the place. I think I would have had a clear cut winner before rewatching it, and now I'm just like, dude, everybody was so good. Like, for me, I think it would be between Dave Chapelle and Luke Wilson, just because they're the most memorable B and B characters I've ever seen in a movie like this. Honestly, they're so good. They outshine for me Martin Lawrence, and Martin Lawrence is good. Yeah. I mean, he's good in this. I mean, without him, this movie isn't as good. But those two are. I'm like, I can't decide without which one. If you lose them, the movie's just not the same.
Exactly.
So I think I'm gonna go with Dave Chapelle, but man, Luke Wilson is very necessary too. So
yeah. For me, it's Dave Chapelle just stealing the show as Telly. Like Martin Lawrence is, like you said, he's good, but he's also like this is that problem of like movie 3 or 4 or like album 3 or 4 where you're like you've had some hits, you've got some clout now, and you're just kind of like. It's not full paycheck, but it's almost paycheck movie where it's just like, all right, cool. I'm going to walk around and say, damn, and like believe that a couple times. I'm going to flash a badge and a gun, and I'm going to get like probably like 30 million to do this, kind of thing. Like, fuck yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, it's definitely Dave Chapelle, hands down.
Yeah, I don't think I had a clear-cut winner either. Just kind of gonna go back to what I said a little bit earlier, which is that I think for the most part, everybody just kind of played it pretty safe, and I don't know why. I think I enjoyed that. So I think everybody did a good job in whatever role they were in. Right? I like that Martin Lawrence. I actually like that he didn't go full Martin Lawrence,
Mhm.
because I know sometimes that could be like a little off-putting to people, or just like a little too much. So I like that he was kind of like right at that nice little safe zone. Even like Dave Chappelle doing his goofy stuff, he didn't like go full blown Dave Chappelle. He got pretty close, but he didn't get there. And even like the cops, even though when you really think about it, they were pretty dumb. Nobody was like bumbly or like, oh no, so I kind of like that. I was like, okay, like I guess this is a little bit believable. They kind of had a little skepticism in their face when they're reacting to certain things, but but nobody really just stood out. Just as in general, that's kind of what stood out to me, was that everybody just kind of played it pretty straight and was pretty safe.
Yeah.
I agree. It was an extremely safe movie. So I'm going to give it to the processing guard who took the shoelace.
Yeah.
Dude, that absolutely.
He's probably the most like serious actor in the entire film.
Exactly. Leads us on to my new band name. A memorable quote or reference that would make a cool, edgy band name, and what genre would said band be? I came up with a lot, weirdly.
I had a bunch, but I narrowed it down, and I'm happy with where I landed. So
Yeah.
Go for it, guys.
All right. If you guys just want to go back and forth, I'll jump off. Thank you. Let's party. They're a pop punk band, obviously. But yeah, it comes from when the chief pulls Martin Lawrence into the interrogation room, and he's like, son, have you got anything to say for yourself? And he's like, well, I can. And then he's like, no, have you got anything to say for yourself? That was incredible police work. That was and all this. And it's like, I commend you. And he's like, thank you. Let's party.
Yeah, that was good. I forgot that part, but that's. And what was the genre you said?
Oh, I said they would be pop punk.
Oh yeah, nice. I had Cesspool as a band name.
Nice.
The Cesspool reference. I mean, first of all, that was one of my favorite parts with Luke Wilson, is when he's like, I had no idea it was a cesspool. I couldn't tell it all. Just like those lines were just great. But I thought Cesspool, I mean, obviously you hear Cesspool, you instantly go to like kind of death metal or whatever. But then I was like, I think it'd be better if it was more like a psychedelic, like trance music type of thing, where you put like, you take Enya and you put like a dance beat behind it or something, and you just you can just listen to this music. You don't need to be on the drugs because the music takes you
It's
there.
like borderline tribal.
Yeah, exactly. Like full on like noise, volume, just high.
Someone put speed in my cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't smoked a Chewy bowl in a long time. My heart rate. Yeah. Also, just really quick, like side note, and we'll get back to band names one second. But my God, Luke Wilson. Like, can you imagine Luke Wilson's character at a magic show?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how you saw a woman in half. You just do it. You don't hesitate. If you hesitate, there's blood.
I get it now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. I don't understand why PETA's so upset. We've got thousands, if not infinite rabbits. You just reach into the hat.
His performance put me off so much in this movie. Because I'm used to him in much deeper like acting things. Like it's like Royal Tenenbaums for one thing. I watch a lot. And it's like, fucking Richie, what are you doing?
I know. No, it's Luke Wilson going full Owen Wilson in this one.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm trying to think of another Luke Wilson film where he was this dense.
Just so bad.
But I'm pretty sure he played it exactly as the director said.
Exactly.
So good on him, I guess.
For another one, I've got Ugly and Can't Read Good. They'd be a hip hop duo, kind of in the vein of like Run the Jewels. But that's my favorite line in the entire movie.
I like that part from Dave Chappelle.
Like when, you've got the like really sweet DA,
the
like
lawyer,
and she's just like what happened in there? Da da da. And it's like, well, he started beating up on me, and he said I was ugly and I couldn't read good. And it's like that line. That was like, speaking of like quotable lines, that's what me and my friends would always quote. As far as just pure like dialogue of this film. And yeah, that line still, I was like waiting for it. And then when they said it, I still cracked up. Like I was so excited.
I also thought Hot Pizza would be a good band name. Like if it was like a K-pop band or something. Hot Pizza. I don't know. That seemed like it kind of worked.
It's funny. The two I had was the first one was Guns and Shit. Because they said that like 3 times, and every time they said, I don't know why, I thought it was the funniest fucking thing.
Guns and shit.
Yeah, we got guns and shit. They said it like 3 times in like 3 different instances. And I don't know, that one. I mean, easy one would be like a hip hop duo, but a new metal band would be good too.
I have a hot take for that one.
And the other one was my thrash metal band, Guts Through His Ass. I was like, yeah, I'm like,
show him the gut move.
like, that's a song right off of
See,
Cannibal Corpse.
that's the thing is like
When he does the with the eyeballs, bro, I was like, I forgot about that too. That was another nostalgic one. We were just walking around all the time, just at school.
That's the other thing that threw me off. Like he understood at that point to improvise.
Yeah.
But every other point he didn't fucking get it.
Exactly.
Like what?
I've also got One Shoelace. They'd be like a VH1 pop rock band, kind of like a
that's
like
a
Snow
good
Patrol or something like that.
I like One Shoelace. That is a good name. Yeah.
And then
because One Shoelace, I mean, that just tells a story about a band, doesn't it? Like it's just you already know what you're getting into. You buy tickets to One Shoelace, you're like, oh fuck, thank God they were only $25.
Exactly. That's like hands in the air, swaying as like a guy with coiffed hair plays the same 2 chords over and over again on an acoustic guitar.
It's like My Morning Jacket. Like.
And then my last band is Gato and Mi Pantalones.
You know what I thought about that one?
They'd be a narco cultura band. Like it would be like some straight crime mariachi, basically.
Oh man, I forget the name of it, but there was this great Mexican death metal band, and one of their biggest songs where the guy was just screaming "huevos" over all the metal, and it's like just over and over and over. It's like I fucking love this. So yeah, Gato and the Pantalones, I love it.
Yeah.
And then Luke Wilson coming in with, you just told those gentlemen that they have a cat in their pants.
Exactly. That's the sample that starts the the breakdown. Any updated movie titles for 2023?
Oh, I did a bunch in my head, but
I didn't understand this one. But they never say it in the movie, do they? Blue streak? Why? How does that?
Because he had a streak of blue, right?
Just being
referring
a cop?
to him being a cop for a brief period, I think, is what it was.
Which
but
is
it
such
took
a
me
weird
forever.
title.
It took me until rewatching it this time to figure that out. Because I always was just like, why is it called that? I thought maybe because of a cop car flying with a siren for a long time. But then I'm like, oh, it's a streak in blue. Like I was, that's what the whole thing was.
I didn't get it either, and I googled it because I was like, I don't, and all I got was something about like talking really fast, like a continuous Chris Tucker, and I was like, well, I mean, maybe if Chris Rock was in the or not Chris Rock, Chris Tucker was in the role, so I was like, maybe that's what they were saying. Maybe they thought, I don't know, but
yeah, I didn't have anything amazing. I wrote Deceptive Detective just because I like fucking alliteration, and then because I like alliteration, an easy one is CopCon.
CopCon, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and then you could throw in a scene where they go to like the governor's ball or something like that. Like it's literally a cop convention kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought Man for the Job would be pretty good because they referenced that a couple times in the movie. They say, oh, you're the man for the job, Malone. And it's kind of like he turned out to be the man for the job that all the cops weren't when it came to it. So I thought that would be pretty good. And then like Borderline Detective would have been good too.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Just because they go to the border. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Nice. This is the first movie we've had like we could come up with good.
I know. Usually we're like, normally, we're like, no, that's it. There's no replacement.
Yeah.
But Blue Streak is a bad name.
Yeah, it's a bad name.
It's weird. Yeah. Borderline's way better.
Yeah.
We have the Roger Deakins Would Be Proud Award for cinematography. Yeah, he kind of touched on the whole, like, it's not shot very well.
Dude, the car scene is just an example of, we have to almost play this game in reverse on this movie, because it's like, what's the worst cinematography scene? Because it's so bad.
Yeah, I was, because this is my first time watching it, I was kind of misled about what the movie was in the first 15 minutes during the heist and everything. I thought the heist was filmed really well.
Oh, yeah.
The zip lining across the buildings, that was like, that was really
done good.
fucking
And like
entertaining.
the way they did the heat on the wire to like melt through and do that. I'm like, wow, this is almost as good as like some good heist movie shit.
Am I watching a Michael Mann movie?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a much more of a heist movie. But
the intro is clean. That's what I have. It's just the entire intro scene.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that does make sense. That is the best filmed, I'd say. Yeah.
And then I'm going to slip this one in here. I don't think I put it on your guys' notes, but is that Channing Tatum in a dog collar award? An award given to an actor with an unexpected cameo or a bit part? Fucking Octavia Spencer.
Right, yeah, Octavia Spencer. I forgot she was in it. That was the one for me instantly. I'm like, holy fuck, it's Octavia Spencer. Like, easily the biggest actor now that's in this entire movie, I'd say. Probably.
Yeah, she has one line. She's like, girl, your deadbeat man is here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fucking, yeah, 2-time Oscar nominee. And she gets a throwaway line, and her whole bit, or her whole character is just that, like, oh, haha, she's fat.
The fat cousin, right?
Yeah. Welcome to Hollywood.
Exactly.
But I loved in that scene how he's like, it's all good, it's all about the love, girl. Like more Christopher, like he was like, whoa at first, but then he tried to like, he tried to bring it back. Like, it's cool, I can work with this. You know, I'm like, okay, well at least he's not a prick.
Also, that's just bad casting because his like love interest looks nothing like Octavia Spencer. Like, I was just like, ooh, how do you get those two women confused?
2 years is not long enough.
Not
exactly.
nearly long enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole scene, just like, why did they close the door and then have the whole conversation from? Anyway, that's different. But it's why did they turn that into a Romeo and Juliet situation?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
There's also that one particular that location. I was trying to find it, and like I don't think those houses exist anymore, but that's like a super fucking pricey neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where you can see the fucking city skyline right outside your
Oh,
front
yeah.
door.
That park is gorgeous. The park right in
Oh,
front
well,
is like,
he's doing really well coming right out of jail, too. He has his apartment where he's like practicing in his underwear. He's fucking got all these suits. He's got he's got fake teeth to go be a fake pizza guy. You know, he's got plenty of bread somehow. He's paying his uncle hella money to do all this fake stuff. Like, where did all this money come from?
Well, you know, that's from
he didn't sell the diamond yet. I mean,
exactly. It's from the 9 other diamond heists.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah, that's what they want us to.
But
the government didn't take all that shit as soon as that diamond was still missing. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, another nitpick.
Don't complicate this guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm asking too many hard questions. This movie doesn't hold up if you do that.
Just be like the police officers and just go along.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Just go along
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, smile and nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been a good title too.
Oh shit,
Smile
it would
and
have
nod.
been.
Smile and nod.
Because then it's just Luke Wilson is smile, and The Hans Gruber Death Fall Award, awarded to villains with satisfying death scenes. Personally, I'm giving it to Eddie getting shot off the roof at the very beginning during the heist and landing on the cop car right behind Telly.
Oh, you know what's funny? Not having to do with his death. Yeah, I saw his name in the opening credits. I was like, oh, it was John Hawkes. That's what name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, John Hawkes is in this. And then he like dies.
Yeah,
And I was like,
12 seconds.
And I did not remember that. And so I was kind of like, for a little bit, I was waiting for him to like come back. I'm like, no, he's dead. Yeah,
That's it.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
No, if you look at like the IMDb, he's famous enough to have like a really high billing, weirdly. Like it's just like, like Martin Lawrence, like, you know.
Yeah, he's like third on there, I think.
Yeah, he's like third or fourth. Yeah. And you're like, oh. And then he's in it for all of 2 seconds.
Yeah.
What a big rug pull.
Yeah. For that one, I gave it to the end scene. Yeah, just because, like, the first guy that falls off, I think it's the most satisfying. Like, it's the best visual killing, but it's also, it didn't feel good because I didn't want him to die. It wasn't like a vindication thing. Whereas at the end, you know, we're all rooting for that fucker to go down, and when he pulls the gun, it's like you gotta give it to that.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Peter Green, what a good villain. Like, Deacon is such a like. That's one of those names you hear and you're like, oh, that's a bad guy.
Is he a villain in everything he does too? I mean, like,
I have never seen him play like an honest person in a film.
I mean, like,
he was in he's in a couple before The Mask.
Like, okay,
the mask set him on that.
Yeah, because it's like The Mask,
everything,
Pulp Fiction,
everything
like
before
everything. Yeah,
he's just
everything before that. He's a really good supporting actor.
Okay,
and not a villain. And I'm trying to think I think we did a movie with him in it where he's a supporting character.
Oh,
Howard the Duck.
Oh shit, he's in Howard the Duck.
He's in the bar scene in Howard the Duck.
Oh, well, there's an easy connection right there.
Yeah, there's an easy.
Probably,
Controversial hot takes. What would make someone rewatch this movie with a different point of view? We already touched on a big one that Javi mentioned is like, just dress up like a fucking janitor and go in and get the diamond.
Yeah, or the other side of it where the cops know the whole time he's faking it, but they're getting this guy to do their job for him would be an interesting. Like the whole time, all of the playing dumb is just all because they, you know, maybe it's like after the first, once they figure it out, they just let him keep cooking kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Miles is the best officer on the force, and this is how cops should probably operate aside from the violence.
Right.
Like the whole bit where like the whole rim stealing thing where it's like, yeah, man, like no actual crime being committed here. You're just wasting our fucking time. Like, I'm not going to waste the jail cell and the paperwork. Like, hey, look at me. Don't do that again.
Right. Well, I'm going to put this in your ass.
Exactly.
Pop, pop.
And then another, just a very, like, more of a nitpick than anything is like, Deacon should have waited for Miles to come back with the diamond before shooting Eddie off the roof.
Yeah, maybe. And it was a good period of time between those two things happening.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, first of all, it's like, It's like, okay, we're doing a heist. Let's draw no attention, and then it's like you're going to use a gun with no silencer to kill one of your partners off the fucking roof.
Yeah, and right next to the car you're supposed to escape in. By the way, it's just a miracle it went on the cop car, not on the car that they were supposed to drive away in.
Yeah, and then and it's like, okay, cool, that guy's dead. And like possibly the, getaway driver heard gunshots, got skittish and left. So now you're stuck on a roof with no diamond yet. And you're like also hoping that the gunshots didn't alert like security in the building. Like that whole bit is just like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Peter Green?
Bit reckless, yeah.
Yeah. Is it time for another Spider-Man award? Do we need a remake? And if so, bleh. Let me try that again.
You can stop right there.
I can just stop. Do we need a remake?
I mean, obviously we don't need a remake, but me personally, I mean, if they made one, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah.
In terms of that, like, it's not, for me, it's unfortunately, it's not a classic. Sorry.
Sorry. Look, I didn't, if that's what, I'm not contending it's a classic, although it's a classic for certain reasons to me, but this is not a movie I'm sitting here going, if people don't appreciate and respect this movie, then there's something wrong. No, not at all. I completely understand people who are like, why the fuck would you like, this movie is nothing, but it's everything too. And when it comes to dialogue and it's like, and the action comedy and stuff. So yeah, and not offended by it being not a classic. Trust me, I'm under no illusion.
Doesn't need it, but if I heard they were making one, I wouldn't be surprised or bothered.
I probably wouldn't watch it.
I wouldn't run and check it out. I'd wait till Netflix or something.
Yeah, exactly. I probably wouldn't watch it. I mean, I might if it was a literal remake. If they did some kind of sequel with the same actors, and it was like that, then yeah. But if they're just remaking it, it's like there's no reason to do that. This movie there's nothing good enough about this movie to remake it,
I was gonna say, we don't need a remake, but a spiritual successor would be great. Like we just don't make as many fun buddy cop movies anymore. So it's like if you could just crank out like an actual buddy cop movie with like high profile actors that I care about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Let them cook, let them do their own thing with it. Yeah. It's all about the leads when it comes to movies like this. It's all about the star power of the people that are, because it's definitely not about the
plot is
the plot. Yeah, there's no it's
the
tough.
plot is like
tough.
Lowest on the totem pole for sure.
Yeah,
it's funny they do make those movies, but they're fucking terrible.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like I feel like we're in just such a weird era with streaming and all that kind of stuff where it's like there's just so many throw the darts at the board and see if they stick movies that I feel like actually we probably make a shit ton of buddy comedies. They're just all in the like chasms of Hulu and stuff like that. Where
and the good ones you miss because there's so many shitty ones that you just don't even bother. You're not even going to watch the one. You're like, oh, here we go. Another fucking,
Where it's like, oh, great. Aquafina and Channing Tatum are trying to stop like underground dogfighting ring. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I think I saw that one. I'm sure.
That might be
that's coming out next week. Yeah.
Be kind, please rewind. Good or bad, is this movie worth a rewatch? Is it something you'd recommend to someone who hasn't seen it?
I think for me, it was worth a rewatch, 100%. I think I will eventually, in another 10 years, rewatch it again, because it'll be the same thing. It'll be nostalgic.
Sure.
When it comes to, recommending it to other people, it would be like, do you want to see a fun, silly movie? Like it would have to be a very specific situation. I'm not selling it as an art piece to anybody. I'm not like, hey, you got to really go watch this movie. But yeah, if it's like somebody who just watched something else that they really enjoyed that's in a similar vein, it's easily one I would recommend as like a funny comedy to watch.
Yeah, if you were showcasing an era.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Half-Baked, Blue Streak.
Yeah, if somebody just got into Dave Chappelle, I mean, it's like, if you somehow missed that your whole life.
Yeah, I think it holds up surprisingly well. Also, like you said, like I would recommend it just as like a window into Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence, like in their peak and their prime. Like it's like, oh yeah, like no, he's been in the news for some stuff, but I promise he used to be really funny. You should check him out.
Yeah, I want to say that I would recommend it. And I understand that's essentially the question. But if I'm thinking literally about it, there's so many other things that I would recommend first. That if I'm being honest, I don't think Blue Streak would come up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like in the next couple of weeks, if somebody asked me, I would for sure mention it, right? But I think just 2 years from now, somebody asked me, like,
this movie is gone. Yeah, exactly. From thought, if you don't have the connection to it, like the nostalgia, like it's even been gone from me watching it. I mean, of course, I wouldn't even consider recommending it. It was more searching for the nostalgia that made me think of this movie.
Sure.
So there's no chance if, outside of that I'm going, oh yeah, that movie is the one you recommend, unless it's very specific. Like, what's a great Dave Chappelle character or something? You know what I mean?
I hadn't even seen it. It made me nostalgic for the time period.
Yeah.
With Martin and Dave. So like, and it did its job.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not a bad movie at the end of the day.
No,
It's,
no.
super fun.
I would be very specific about who I recommended it to.
Yeah.
But I would tell people, especially my age, to like, remember this.
Yeah.
You should check it out again. It's not bad.
We got the Neil Breen Struggle for Relevance Award.
You could probably skip that one.
Yeah, probably skip it. Yeah, it's like
There's no themes or
There's no themes in this. Yeah.
It's we don't really make.
Would Neil Breen make a good remake of this?
I think he would. I think I would watch the shit out of that. Just some fucking dry, like, we need to get the diamond back. I will be a cop now. Like, we'll skip that one. Rainy Day Pairing. Best double feature for this movie while under a blanket at home with some snacks.
I want to be the first to say, well, it depends, right? I mean, if obviously, I've mentioned Rush Hour a couple times. I feel like that's the kind of obvious one. But if you don't want that same kind of genre repetition, it's got to be Training Day.
Training Day.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's got to be
Nice.
Training Day. Yeah.
Training Day is a good one. And Rush Hour was what I had as the obvious choice as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Training Day is a good call because it's such a juxtaposition too. Because like I feel like if you do Rush Hour right after this, it will be just
More
so
the same.
it's so one note. Like there's very little change. So
And you got to do Training Day second. You watch music first.
absolutely, yeah.
We should
Gotta
do
have
that.
your smiles and your cries, no one can take that away from you.
We should do that one too.
I would love to do Training Day.
I watched that one a couple months ago. It holds. I
Absolutely.
still
Okay.
like it.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
good.
No, totally.
You guys want a same crew? Like, just keep the buddy.
buddy
cop
on the-
training rolling, dude.
I'm in
Training Day.
We'll
I'm
just
super
only,
down
I'll
for
show up
Training Day.
only for those episodes.
Exactly.
Every buddy cop movie, which that means we're going to be out of them in like 4 movies.
Yeah, for me, one that we didn't touch on, which I think is a superior Martin Lawrence movie, and I'd be down to rewatch because I don't know if it holds up at all, but Nothing to Lose.
Yeah.
Nothing to Lose is great.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
don't know that one.
So it's Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence.
Wow. Okay. I'm in.
It's not a cop movie. It's not, but it's a buddy like situational comedy. Tim Robbins basically thinks that his wife is fucking his boss. And so he's just like, okay, it's done. I'm over. Like, I'm leaving her. I'm quitting this job. I'm doing all this. And so he's going to go hurt his boss where, like, with what he holds dear, which is his company. So he's like, I'm going to knock over my boss's like company. I'm going to rob the CEO of this like multi-million-dollar business. And he just so happens to run into Martin Lawrence. I think it's kind of shitty and like racially charged. Like, I think Martin Lawrence is like trying to carjack him or something. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, same.
But basically they team up to go rob this like giant like corporate CEO like office. And it's super, I love that movie. I remember it being so funny. I would actually be really happy to do that on this because I feel like it probably doesn't hold up. It's probably got some really shitty things
I think
in it.
it's on the list. So.
I watched it not that long ago. It's pretty. It's
still pretty good?
I enjoyed it. I
Okay,
mean, there's
okay.
some shitty things, of course, because it's the time. But also it was still. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because we touched on like the racially charged. I think that one's a lot more like, well, white people do this and
Yeah.
black people do that, kind of like, and that's
But that was, I mean, this movie actually did a remarkable
surprisingly
job.
doesn't do that.
Yeah, right. But for its
Yeah.
time, like you were saying too, it's very much not. It doesn't focus on that as much as the rest of the
No.
movies did at this time.
More about him being a crook, right?
Yeah.
Rather than-
Exactly.
rather than-
which is a perfect lead into the Sonic Death Monkey Top 5. Made up list with deep emotional or esoteric relevance to the subject of the film. And for this week, we have, because, not a whole lot of depth going on in a Martin Lawrence buddy comedy. What are you guys' top 5 all-time buddy cop movies?
So how do we do this? Do we go all 5 or one at a time?
Usually do all 5, and we've gotten in the habit of doing kind of like your least recommended or favorite to your favorite.
Yeah, for 5 to 1.
Yeah, 5 to 1.
Okay. All right. Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Kyle.
whoever wants to go first.
So
Great.
I didn't necessarily put this in exact order, but it's pretty
That's okay.
close. So
Get off the podcast.
I had 2 tied for my 5th spot, which
That's
was
fine.
Other Guys and Rush Hour.
Ooh.
Okay. I've only seen chunks of Other Guys.
Other Guys is fun.
It's fun, man. And
Yeah.
it was actually going to be my choice for watching them back to back
Yeah.
for my double feature would have been Other Guys because it's very different, but it's much more modern but it's funny, dude. The one-liners.
Yeah.
If you're on that train of if you're in the mood for watching Blue Streak, then you're gonna enjoy Other Guys.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's the one with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Will
right?
Ferrell,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Will Ferrell
That's
movies.
funny.
I mean, it's
honestly,
I forgot. I recently saw the beginning of that again.
Yeah.
And I forgot that it starts with, was it Sam Jackson and The Rock?
Yeah.
Jumping off a building.
Yeah,
that's so
a couple
good.
of idiots aiming for the bushes. Yeah. There was no bushes there.
Yeah.
Middle of New York, or some shit.
So fucking good. And yeah, sorry if we skipped over you for the
No,
whole,
good.
like,
Oh, no, it's
rainy
fine.
day pairing thing.
No worries. So for number 4, I had The Nice Guys. I really enjoyed that. And then number 3, Training Day. Number 2, Midnight Run.
Ooh.
And number 1, Men in Black.
Yeah, right on.
Hell yeah. I think we might all have very similar lists.
That's what I was thinking we probably would.
Yeah.
So I was like wondering if we would do one at a time and then almost do it like a draft, because then you'd have to eliminate. But anyway, that'd be a lot of movies to come up with.
Yeah.
You ever seen High Fidelity?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's where this is from. It's just like 3 guys work in a record store, and they're so bored they just say like, do a top 5 list on this.
Oh, okay.
So it's just random, off the cuff. But where do you? Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I like it. I should watch that. I think I've heard of it a bunch, and just said that's.
I would like to do it on the pod because I don't know if that one holds up.
I rewatched it again after the last podcast because I kind of watch it like every month. It sounds obsessive.
Yeah.
But I fucking love that movie.
Yeah. No,
You got me to watch that, so thank you again, Luke.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well, now
remember
it's
you
it's on
recommending
my
that.
list. It's happening.
I enjoyed
for me. So
It doesn't. There's a lot of There's some shittiness in it. But
Yeah.
it's like,
But it is what it is. Yeah.
I have a huge John Cusack problem.
Yeah.
that's me and Kevin James. I just love.
Right.
I'll watch all of his bad movies and his good movies. I just love that man and his style so much. It doesn't matter.
You go ahead, Chuck.
Okay. Number 5, I have Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
Okay.
Throbs and Raw, as it's known on the streets. It's so fucking dumb, but it's like, it's a buddy cop movie. I fucking love it. I love that it's just like, it's Statham and The Rock just doing one-liners and quips back and forth. And like, because The Rock is The Rock, it's one of the few movies where you get like to see the little like chinks in his armor, in the sense that The Rock is always like, well, I've got to be the toughest, most handsome, beautiful, perfect man, or else I'm not doing this movie.
Right.
And it's the one time where it's like, he finally gets his balls busted pretty good. And it's like, and it's just mindless fun. Idris Elba has like a fucking robot arm for no reason at one point in the movie. It's great. Honestly, like,
All right, I'll watch it. Fine.
you don't have like, it's in the quote unquote Fast and the Furious universe, but you need nothing. You need no context. It's literally just 2 guys who are like, fighting crime together. It's fucking dumb. It's great. Number 4, I also have The Other Guys, which we already touched on, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. Number 3 is Men in Black, because it's just,
that almost made my list.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. That movie, you can rewatch it
I
today. It's
like
a good movie.
I like the 2 as well.
Yeah.
Like,
3 is where I draw the line in the sand. But 1 and 2 are solid.
Yeah.
For my number 2, I also have The Nice Guys. I fucking love that movie. I have a weird soft spot for that movie. That's like on a rewatch till the end of time list for me for some reason.
It's freaking hilarious.
Shane Black. It's
Yep.
nothing wrong with it. We almost did that as one of our inaugural episodes, but we realized like, I don't know if we necessarily have nostalgia for that one.
It's too. We're still watching it.
Exactly, and it's pretty current.
Yeah.
And then my number 1, which I'm surprised no one said yet, and I'm sorry if I stole it from you, Javi. Gotta be Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2 was
on my list.
above Bad Boys 1.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Bad Boys for sure. That was absolutely was it 2002?
Something like
came
that.
out, and it just hit me like that was the right time for me for sure.
It's like peak Michael Bay bullshit with like, they start having more fun too. Like, not that Bad Boys isn't fun, but Bad Boys 2 is just like, they just lean into everything. They're like, oh no, this is a buddy cop comedy with giant action set pieces. This is no longer just like Michael Bay being like, and then things go boom, and then Will Smith goes, hey, and then things go boom. This is like, oh no, we're gonna give them quips and like we're gonna build up the characters and do the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. So that was on my list, but it was my number 5.
Oh.
So I did have Bad Boys 2 as number 5. Number 4, I have Hot Fuzz.
Oh, Hot Fuzz was so good.
Which is,
I was thinking about that one too. It didn't make the cut, but that's a great choice. It's a great movie.
Yeah, for sure. Number 3, I have the movie The 22 Jump Street. Wait,
21?
21, thank you. That's thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Yes. I was like, as soon as I said it, I was funny because I wrote it.
You
but
can
as soon
like
as I said
22
it,
more. You're allowed.
Yeah, 22 is fine.
No. 21 was yeah. As soon as I came out of my mouth, I was like, wait a minute. No, 21. That's the proper name. Yes, 21 Jump Street. I have that. So fucking funny. And I
don't know how. I've never seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's worth the watch.
Absolutely.
I was around for the TV show and didn't really. Didn't really catch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think did you watch it? Did you watch 21? The movie though?
No.
Okay, because
No.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
It's pretty removed where I think you could watch it and
I'm
get
still
some-
probably gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's super
But,
fun.
Yeah, you don't have to rush out, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's worth it. I would say just at some point if it's just on or something, you should give it a go because it's
they're rapid fire making all these movies and TV shows from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
it's hard.
I don't need to see that shit again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it does that thing well too. It does it well. That thing where they kind of knock on the old stuff.
Okay.
But it does it in the right way because there's a lot of stuff where you're like, oh, okay, haha, I get it. You're making fun of whatever show. But
Right.
they actually do it really well.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's
I
actually like
recommend it.
super meta.
Yeah, it's really well. Number 2, I have The Rock,
Oh.
which I don't know if
Interesting.
I don't know if that counts, but
That does.
It's a great movie, but
I mean,
the buddy cop.
Well,
it's
Cage has to work with the criminal.
yeah,
It's a
and
buddy
they're
thing.
different when he's very.
They have to
I'm the
team
straight
up
shooter.
and go into the.
to
So-
save. Yeah, you got it. I can give.
I'll give it to you. Yeah.
And it's fun enough to where I was like, okay, it's got that fun element, Michael Bay kind of like.
Oh, I want to do The
like,
Rock so bad. That's such a good movie.
Please,
I just rewatched that too.
I fucking love that movie. So if you guys
I
do
do
it,
too.
All right, we'll put that on the list as well. Maybe we'll do like.
What's the prom queen? Okay.
oh, so good. Okay. And then number 1, Rush Hour 2.
Hell yeah.
Rush Hour 2. I think I said that on the other
You
podcast.
said that
I
on
like
the,
it, I like
you're
it
like,
better
it's
than the first.
superior.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one I like more, to be honest with you. It's been so long since I've seen both those movies. I might have to do a little marathon action of both 1 and 2 just to remind myself which ones I love, because those movies just are one movie to me now.
Yeah,
Because I
same.
watched them both so many times.
The volume
I couldn't
1,
tell-
volume 2.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the difference was between those two.
2 is better just because it's the same movie. They just hit their stride.
Yeah,
It's like 1 was like a warm-up film, and then 2 is like, oh, okay, now it's more, and they're just doing it. It's great.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought the first one was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my number 5. So
yeah.
Nice.
number 4, I have Cops and Robertsons.
Ooh, I don't
Have
know.
you-
What is that?
have you heard it at all? Okay.
No.
Cops and Robertson?
Robertsons.
Oh, Robertsons.
Yeah, I have a like totally pretentious list of movies you guys probably haven't heard of. I love
It's
it.
okay.
Hit me with it. Yeah.
Because there's
Chevy-
somebody out there with your list, and they're listening to
Yeah.
our list going, these fucking idiots.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, that's kind of what Nostalgia Killers is turning into, man. I'll just be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's all good.
Every time you guys do a new episode, I'm like, I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
That's it. I'm just trying to spark interest in the genre.
But that's
you know?
great. That's
Yeah.
great. Absolutely. Yeah, let's hear it.
Cops and Robertsons. There's this family, the Robertsons, Chevy Chase,
Oh, in.
Diane Wiest, I think, and then I forget the kids, but they live next to like a drug lord.
Oh.
So the FBI sends an older guy as grandpa into the family's home, and the family tries to get involved. So it's like this whole undercover, kind of like with this film, where there's like blurring the lines, and like they're trying to do their job, but there's like civilians in the way, that kind of deal.
Dude, that sounds super fun.
It's
I've never
like-
heard of this.
Yeah, I
Same-
know. And Chevy Chase, I mean, I'd be
it's
Sold.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good. I forget the older guy's name, but he's like really grisly and really good. Let's see. Number 3, Dragnet.
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks.
I saw that I was looking up buddy cop movies, and I saw that, and I'm like, I've never seen this movie. What year
Yeah.
was that? Like early 80s?
Well,
or
like 89, 90.
late 80s, yeah.
One of my favorites is one I watched growing up a lot. It was just on VHS, and we just always had it on.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
From that
He
era.
was young too, right?
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah. Like big and like,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. Dan Aykroyd before he went crazy.
Before the aliens and Crystal Head vodka got to him.
Yeah. And it's it's a remake of the TV show from the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job of paying homage and making fun of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. Let's see. Number 2, Loaded Weapon 1.
Oh, yeah.
You got me on that one too. Thanks again for that. That's the
Is that
National
a
Lampoon, right?
spoof?
So
Is that
that's the
spoof on
spoof
Lethal Weapon?
of Lethal
Yes.
Weapon in every buddy cop movie ever
right.
made.
So
Sam
I
Sam
can-
Jackson and Emilio Estevez and William Shatner, fuck ton of people.
Come on.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to see
Yep,
this.
Loaded
Yeah.
Weapon.
Wow.
It is, and Bruce Willis. I mean, like,
I forgot about them. That's great.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that sounds
yep.
amazing.
It is a National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Yeah.
And it is every minute there's a joke.
Yeah.
Every minute
Wow.
there's a spoof.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in. Sold on that one.
Yeah. Highly
Solid.
recommend it. And then my number 1, Hot Fuzz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the one I watch the most,
Yeah.
like over and over and over. So epilogue. What's our verdict on this film here?
I personally let it live. Like, it's fun. It's harmless. It's like, it's just a good time. Like, it's not like, I'm not going to put it in the fucking Criterion collection or like anything like that. But it's like,
come on, man.
But it's a
Classic.
It's a good time. It's like, yeah, exactly. If you're just like a little hungover on the couch or like, you still somehow have cable and you're flipping through and it's on, like, yeah, dude, just leave it on. Like, put it on, go, cook dinner or something and just listen to, the dulcet
Blue
tones.
Streak, I fucking love this movie.
Well, yeah, so it's a let it live for me just purely because there's no reason to retire it. I mean, there's nothing about this movie that's obscene or bad enough. There's enough redeeming qualities in this plotless movie to make it a value watch still for me. So it's a let live here.
Right on. Javi?
Yeah, let it live. It's the same as everybody else. It's it's safe. It's not going to offend anybody. I don't think if you recommend it to anybody, nobody's gonna be like, oh, why'd you make me watch that stupid?
We're
piece
not
of
friends
shit?
anymore.
Yeah, or like, thanks, I just wasted an hour of no. I think anybody would be like, oh, that thanks, that was funny. I think right, it's PG-13. It's fairly older, family friendly. I mean, just let it live. It's not harming anybody.
He ain't hurt nobody. Now, Skater, he ain't hurt nobody. Let him sit.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. I have no like nostalgic attachment to this film, but it's doesn't bother me. It was funny. It was funny to watch. I had a good time watching it.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for making this one of the episodes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed rewatching. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Good, because I was
right,
nervous about picking it because I was like, I don't know, man. I have no idea if this is gonna land at all. And I knew that it was.
We've been through Howard the Duck.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're welcome. Through Howard and back.
Right on. So that kind of wraps us up.
Yeah.
Our next episode will be a special episode. I'm going to take us this show on the road a little bit. We're going to be doing Back to the Future with some friends of mine. Should be fun. If you haven't already, and I know you haven't, we have a Patreon. If you can stop by and check it out. We do have post-show discussions that we post there. For $5 a month, you can listen to all of them. I'm really bad at this.
Yeah.
But
It's all good.
Beg, Luke, beg.
I know. Getting ready to introduce some new tiers for $100. You can choose the movie we do next for $1,000. You can be on the show. No.
Yeah, Julia said also
hug?
last
Hug
episode.
for $1,000? Do you get a hug?
Julia said you can suck my toes.
Wow.
Last episode.
Holy shit, you're going to actually get people to go on there.
I know,
and-
exactly.
Nobody knows Julia, but it's a female name, so be careful about what you promise.
That's going to be the name of the tier.
Exactly.
Toe
Julia's
suckers.
promise.
Julia's toe suckers.
Well, to be clear, it was my toes, not hers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Julia's just watching from the corner.
Exactly.
People will pay for that too, you guys.
No, exactly.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you guys got anything to plug? Anything you want to bring up, talk about?
No, not currently. Not currently. Just I can't plug this show enough. I think you guys have all been doing a great job. Anytime you guys bring on a guest, like today, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I just again, if this isn't your cup of tea, just recommend it to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a fun time. I really appreciate the invite too. So
Yeah.
This is cool, and I would love to be a part of it again.
Yeah, so we'll be happy to have you back, man.
We love enthusiasm, so.
Exactly.
Yep. Glad to have you on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
And I've been Luke Lowndes.
I've been Chuck Starzensky.
I've been Javier Martinez.
And I've been Kyle Warner.
And this has been the Nostalgia Killers.
Bang, bang.